Good evening, everyone. I'm Aritra, your host for this evening. We are delighted to welcome each and every one of you to our special webinar on essential tips for a successful Canada study permit application. Let me start with a brief introduction to FA study abroad. At Fragomen Educational Services, we specialize in providing tailored educational services for our students and professionals looking for pursue abroad. We have offices in key cities like Kochi, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune, and Mumbai. And we are here to support you no matter where you are. From expert application guidance to cultural adaptation support, we help you navigate throughout the process, ensuring a smooth transition to your dream destination. In today's session, we are set to explore the essential tips for Canada study permit application with the landscape of visa changing overnight. It is imperative that students are well informed to make strategic decisions. To address that, our experts have compiled a list of effective points through which you can ensure that your dreams of studying in Canada are realized to the fullest without any hassle. It's my honor to introduce our speaker for the day, Ms. Rupa Jagdish, with over 8 years of experience in handling diverse Canada application and visas. She has successfully guided students through challenging cases, helping them navigate the Canadian visa process. And her passion for ensuring success through quality and compliance has made her a trusted expert in assisting students in securing spots at their dream destinations. We genuinely hope that today's webinar helps you to take next step toward your dream destination. And please note that we'll have a dedicated Q&A session at end of the webinar. So if you have any questions or need clarification, just feel free to submit them via Q&A option throughout the session. Thank you for joining us. Now I'll hand it over to Ms. Rupa to start the session. Over you.
Thank you. Thank you, Aritra. A very good evening to one and all present here. Thank you, Aritra, for that very nice introduction about me. So, as you can see, we have joined here to discuss about this session on essential tips for a successful study permit application. Before we get into this topic, I just want to give a little bit brief about our company, Fragomen, Fragomen Immigration Services, and Fragomen Education Services, which from where we come from. Fragomen was established in 1951. Initially, it was started as a domestic US immigration practice firm, but went on to become a world's largest corporate immigration firm, and which represents a broad range of companies, organizations, and individuals to help facilitate the transfer of employees worldwide. So we have a very strong 6,000 plus immigration consultants and 800 plus immigration lawyers who provide great services to more than 8,000 corporate clients in 170 countries. So our services go beyond just visa processing and work permits applications, but we also provide strategic consulting services and support the full spectrum of business immigration services. So in India, Fragomen was started in 2006, and we currently have close to 1,500 employees in offices in Kochi and Bangalore, but with a satellite presence in other major cities. So today, Fragomen is a market leader in not only in advisory and consulting, but it also has, they are pioneers in the cutting edge immigration technology solutions. So Fragomen Educational Services is a new vertical of Fragomen. So basically, when our clients from Fragomen had bestowed so much confidence on Fragomen, we were, the confidence that our clients bestowed on us propelled us to enter into the business to consumer service. So hence Fragomen Education Services was established. Fragomen Education Services, or FES, aims at bringing the high quality professional approach to students whose aspiration go beyond national borders. So people who want to go abroad, they can get an expert service from Fragomen Educational Services. So we basically aim to assist our students with a comprehensive end-to-end services that will make their international study journey very smoother and more efficient. Okay. So world of difference in international education is not only a tagline, but also we aim to achieve the same. So with us, your investments uh, in future become really effortless and efficient and as well as fruitful. So basically what makes uh, Fragment Educational Services different from or unique from the traditional student recruitment services. So we aim at student-centric approach. So for us, student is always on the forefront. First, we have a strong 70-year legacy of immigration, which we pass on, through which we are able to help the students in the study abroad journey more efficiently. We have a presence in 170 countries. So a global presence also makes these things more easier and smoother. Our extensive network of client relations, a proven track record in visa success rates, and a strong compliance focused team who stay up to date with all the regulations. Apart from that, we have also members of the NAFSA and ICF, and the counselors here in Fragment Educational Services are highly qualified, trained, and certified counselors. Okay, so this is about Fragment Education Services. So you can get to know more about our company and our presence in our websites, the details of which is available at the end of this presentation. So now we'll come to the main topic on essential steps for a successful study abroad journey. Um, so before I go in detail into that, I just want to throw some light about why you should be looking at Canada as a study destination. So Canada, as you are aware, is the second largest country in the world with over 99 lakh square kilometers area and a population of 36 million. So it is second largest in terms of oil and natural resources, a very vibrant country where standard of living is very high. Apart from that, Canada also offers a lot of benefits to international students when they come. So in this slide, if you can see, these are some, I'm trying to showcase some of the benefits that student might get when they come to Canada on a student visa. First of all, Canada is a land of immigrants. Okay, so Canada has a history way back 200 years ago when British and French started their colonies here. So from that period on till Canada opted for a free liberal uh, open policy. A lot of students and people from diverse streams have made Canada as their home. Okay, so so Canada very popularly is called as land of immigrants. Secondly, the multicultural society. So due to a lot of innovations and due to its open liberal policy, Canada has attracted people, not only students, but people from diverse streams from more than 170 countries. So you can see a rich culture that has developed in Canada. So it is diverse culture, people from different countries, diverse culture, caste, tradition come and make their living in Canada. So multicultural society is one of the one of the highlighting feature of the Canada country. The third is the world. So Canada is a world leader in aerospace, pharmaceutical, telecommunication, and biotechnology. So it's also has a very good healthcare industry. So next is the qualification. Basically, the degrees that you earned from a Canadian institution has a value around the world. So all these degrees are globally recognized. So Canadian degrees, you can, they help you in making a great career, not only in Canada, but even if you're going outside Canada as well. Affordable education. For somebody who is looking, especially meritorious students who are looking for a education that fits their pockets, Canada is one such destination that gives them the benefit of affordable education. So the tuition fees are very much lesser when you compare with the tuition fees in countries like US, UK, or Australia. Okay, so affordable education is one of the highlighting feature of the Canadian education system, and then healthy and safe communities. So Canada has been consistently rated as the most safest country in the world. So they have an excellent healthcare system, uh, uh, which has a world rank. I mean, which has been widely recognized across the globe, and possibility of paid internships while studying. So Canada believes in practical oriented education system. So most of the programs offered by the various colleges and universities have internships. So these internships help the students gaining practical hands-on experience on the subject they have studied. So most of the time, these internships are also paid internship. So through this, student will also be able to make uh, some money, and he can use for his living expenses in Canada. So the next is a post-study work visa. So Canada offers post-study work visas for students who are doing a full-time course there. So any student who's uh, pursuing a course that is like a minimum of 8 month duration uh, is eligible for a post-study work rights, which will range between 1 to 3 years. The maximum post-study working rights that a student can get is up to 3 years, and options of permanent residency. So the icing on the cake, if I have to say, is the permanent residency options that Canada offers. So once you have studied and worked in Canada, you have various pathways to settle down there as a permanent resident. So next slide, Aritra. So yes, so Canadian education system. So Canadian education system is a very practical oriented education system, a system that prepares you for the life. So here a typical classroom session does not involve just teacher teaching and the student listening. So it includes practical session, it includes interactive sessions, assignments, projects. So basically they have a holistic approach towards the education system. So that's why they are very well recognized as the first most popular country for English language learners and second for French language learners. So there are more than 100 public and private universities and 150 plus public colleges that offers almost a wide variety of programs, almost like 15,000 programs. So anybody who's looking to specialize in any field, Canada has an option for them. So Canadian universities also have a world highly recognized, and some of the, especially the below three universities, are among the top three in the world top 100 world ranking institutions. These institutions are University of Toronto, McGill University, and University of British Columbia. So next slide, Aritra. So in continuation of that, so apart from the universities being in the top 100, so there are also some of universities which are ranked among the top 300 universities in the world rankings. These are the universities: the University of Alberta, McMaster University, University of Montreal, University of Waterloo, University of Western Ontario, University of Calgary, Queen's University, Dalhousie University, and University of Ottawa. Yeah, you can go for the next slide, Anitra. So what are the study options international students have when they come to Canada? So there are a wide range of options students have. So in this slide, we'll be discussing on that. So to start with is the colleges and vocational schools. So colleges and vocational schools basically offer very specialized courses such as uh, diplomas or certificates or advanced diplomas, bachelor's degree, PG diplomas or graduate diplomas. So any student who is looking to specialize in a particular field can take up such courses, and he can enhance his skill in that line. So as I said, these are, as Canada also offers practical oriented education system. So these programs also give them the much needed practical hands-on experience. So after completion of these students, the student is well prepared to take on the jobs in any industry of their that is in their lines. The next is universities. So Canada is also a global leader in research with top-ranking universities. So these universities offer courses like bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees. So the next option is professional certificates. So if the student wants to gain any uh, uh, specific certification or designation, which will enhance the career opportunity, Canada also offers such certification programs. And finally, the language schools. So students also can study English or French languages that is needed for them in these language schools. Next slide, Aritra. Yeah. So basically, in this slide, we are discussing about the two main uh, aspects of the Canadian education system. One is the designated learning institution. So what do you mean by a designated learning institution, and why is there a necessity of a designated learning institution? So basically, designated learning institution, or they are called as a DLR, is a Canadian institution approved by the government to host international students. So if you are choosing to study in any of the institutes or colleges or university in Canada, make sure that they are a DLI, unless otherwise you will not be able to study there. Okay, so most of the universities, colleges, and post-secondary schools in Canada are DLIs. So they can host international students, they can recruit international students. So even if you have to get a study permit to study in Canada, you should be enrolled in a DLI institutions. So if you are enrolling in a DLI institution, you can also get the benefit of post-study work visas and permanent residency options. So if you want to know which are the institutions who fall under this DLI list, you can always check in the IRCC portal, which has a detailed, extensive, comprehensive list of these institutions. So next is the U15 Canada, Canadian universities. So these are an association of 15 leading research universities in Canada, so which represents almost 58% of Canada's full-time graduate students. So they spend almost 835 million Canadian dollars in research and development, basically for business and innovation. So the highlighting feature is these institutions are also a member of the global network of research universities, such as American Association of Universities, or Group of Eight of Australia, and League of European Research Universities. We'll go for the next slide, Aritra. So how to land as a student in Canada? Okay, so there are some the process that is involved. So we will discuss in detail how what are the steps involved in the student journey when you're going to Canada on a as a student. So the first step is selection of the university. Selection and applying to the university. So selection of the right university is very crucial because every student is very unique. So not all universities offer programs or courses, or the fee structure may not be matching to everyone's requirements. So selecting the right university is very crucial, and also the right course for your program. Because if you're not selecting a right course based on your background interest or based on your career goals, then you will not be able to put forth a proper study permit application where uh, the visa officer might be thinking you are not very clear in your career path. So selecting the right university is very crucial, and we help the students in selecting those right institution based on the student background, interest, and career goals. And we'll also help the students in applying to these universities. So application typically requires the student to know what are the requirements, entry requirements for the universities, and what are the document requirements. So we help the students in understanding all this and putting forth the application to the institutions. So once we have submitted an application, then the next thing is uh, getting an offer letter. So once you submit an application and once you meet the requirements of the universities and for the program, the next step is the university issues a admit letter. So the admit letter is it's an initial offer letter that the university issues to the student to formally it's like a admit it's a admit letter that says that they are ready to take you into the institution for that particular program. But that admission letter is not the final letter. So you have to, so these letters are basically conditional offer letters where you may have to uh, pay some, there will be conditions pertaining to some documentation or paying of your tuition deposit. So you have to understand these conditions and you have to fulfill them. So most of the time in Canada, the universities will require you to pay a tuition deposit, or they may ask you to pay a one semester fee, or they might ask you to pay 1 year fees in order to get a formal letter of acceptance. Okay, so you, depending on the institution, you may have to pay that, and then you have to seek the letter of acceptance. Okay, so the letter of the acceptance is a visa letter which will you will be submitting when you're submitting your student visa application. Okay, so once you pay the fees, you will get the letter of acceptance and the fee receipt from your institution. And the next, you have to take up a GIC, which as of now, I think you might be knowing about the new rules the Canadian government has introduced pertaining to the student visa category. So right now, the very popular student direct stream category, which is also called as SDS category, this has been scrapped from November 8th of this year. So so no longer students from India or or from the students who were participating in the HTS program will now be able to lodge the application under the student direct stream. So guaranteed investment certificate, which was one of the mandatory requirement of the student direct stream category, is no longer applicable. Uh, so now it is up to the student's choice whether they want to take this or not. So once you have received your letter of acceptance, or in case you have paid the entire 1 year fees and taken up the GIC, so the next step will be launching your study permit application. So the Canadian study permit application is purely online. So you create an account on the IRCC portal and you submit all the upload all the documents and submit it. So once you have submitted it within 24 hours after your visa application submission, you will get what they call as a biometric instruction letter, uh, which means you have to undergo biometrics, which is also one of the mandatory requirement of the student study permit application with your with the VFS office in your city. So whichever city you are staying, you have to book an appointment with your nearest VFS office and you have to undergo a biometrics. So once the biometrics is done, then that is the end of the application process. So the next step is you may have to wait for the decision. So as far as Canada is concerned, the visa process is purely online, and you will get a decision on your visa application based on the documents that you have submitted. So a positive response from the visa office means, which is also called a passport request letter. So while if a student gets a passport request letter or a PPR, then it means the student has got a visa approval. The next step is they go and submit the passport with the nearest VFS office for stamping. And once the passport comes, then you inform the university, and finally you get ready to fly. So I have not gone in detail about all these process because it'll take I mean it may not fit into this session. So I always recommend the students to meet the counselors in person to understand about all these process, the timeline, and what kind of support we will be offering, as we offer end-to-end support to ensure that you get into or you enroll into your designated institution without any hassle. Okay. So the next slide, Aritra. Yeah. So visa checklist of documents, so which is the crux of this entire webinar. Uh, so the student visa process for Canada, as I told you, is an online process. So your visa decision purely depends on the strength of the documents that you have submitted. So here we are going to just discuss about what all documents are required. Uh, these are basically mandatory documents in the student visa application. First is all academic documents. So depending on what level of program you are applying, be it a UG program or a PG program, you have to submit all your academic documents, which includes your high school, your university degrees, all your marks cards, uh, degree certificates, transcripts, all of them. Okay. And the next is IELTS copy, which is the next mandatory document for the visa process. So you should have a copy of your official IELTS score, which should be uploaded on the visa portal. So the third one is the duly filled visa forms. Basically, for a student visa, there are 3 mandatory visa forms which every student has to fill accurately, legibly, clearly, without and correctly. So there should not be any wrong information which can misinterpret uh, your application. So be very careful while filling these forms. And once you have filled, you have to validate before you upload on the IRCC portal. Next is the passport copy, which is like a travel or an ID proof uh, for the visa office. So passport copy, all the data pages, address pages, and your photo pages, including your travel history in case you have gone out of your home country, with all your visa stamps and your immigration stamps. The pages of uh, all those pages that has stamps or data has to be clearly scanned, uh, merged, and it should be uploaded. And the next is letter of acceptance. So which is your visa letter from the designated learning institution. As if the letter of acceptance is not it's not from a designated learning institution or a DLI, then you will not be able to submit a visa application. So your application will be like rejected. The next is provincial attestation letter. So provincial attestation is a new document. This was started in January this year. So basically, we will be talking in detail about all the new rules that have been introduced by the Canadian government in our later slides. But provincial attestation letter is something which is a mandatory requirement now, and this is given by the Canadian provincial government, and this is to this is like a confirmation that you are within the limits of the cap that every province has. So without a PAL or provincial attestation letter, you cannot submit a visa application. The next is medical certificate. So medical certificate is another mandatory document, and medical has to be done only through authorized panel of physicians. The list of such physician is available in the IRCC portal. You can always check that. And the next is the fee receipt, which is the mandatory document. So even if, so we always recommend students pay the entire first year fees of the program, irrespective of whatever duration the program is. So this will basically enhance your chances of getting visa. So always pay first year fees to make your visa chances very strong. And then GIC, which was earlier mandatory during the SDS process, but now it is optional. But still, we recommend students to take the GIC again to make your visa application very strong. In case you're not able to take up the GIC, you can always replace it with your liquid funds. So liquid funds can be anything from your loan sanction letter to your FDs or savings. Uh, your sponsorship letters, everything, anything like this in liquid format, you can show as funds. And we always recommend that you show maximum funds, uh, even over and above the requirement. So in case if, so suppose if you're going for a 2-year course, so although you might have taken you would have paid 1 year fees or you would have taken GIC for first year, we also recommend students to show that you have either enough money to pay your second year requirements or source to pay the second year requirements. So here, we also recommend students to submit as much as financial documents as possible in order to ensure that your visa chances are higher. This also requires a detailed discussion. So I always recommend students to talk to your counselors in person. So when you come to Fragomen, to any of our offices in India, you can talk to them in detail about these funds requirements. So our certified counselors will help you with the process. So the next is digital photo. Another mandatory requirements. The specifications are available in the IRCC portal. So please follow the specifications and take the photo accordingly. And finally is the statement of purpose. So as Canada visa process is purely online. So unlike countries like US or UK where you have a face-to-face interview with the visa officer, here it is not the case. So basically, statement of purpose is the only way where you can put forth your purpose of study. You can give a strong justification as to why you're looking to study in Canada, how you're going to fund your studies, what are your career goals post finishing the course, and what are your career goals, career options way back in your home country, and what are your ties with your home country due to which you will come back to your home country after finishing the course. So basically, the student visa, as it is a non-immigrant visa, the visa officer will definitely see whether you are a genuine student going to Canada with a purpose of just studying, or you're more of a potential immigrant, because Canada being a PR country, so they will definitely through the visa application, they will definitely assess whether the student is a genuine bona fide student or he is an immigrant. So through your statement of purpose, you can portray that you are a very genuine student and you have all reasons to come back to your home country. Okay. So next slide, Aritra. Yeah. So we will discuss about certain tips to enhance your visa chances. So basically, it is for Canada, as I said, documentation is very crucial, as the visa decision purely is based on the strength of your documents. So always follow these steps when you're applying for student visa. The first thing is the visa forms. So visa forms is a collection of all the information pertaining to your visa application. So always fill the visa application properly with accurate details and correct details, and don't give any false information in the visa application, which might have uh, bad effect or a higher effect on your on the visa decision. So second is apply early. So although the visa processing time for Canada remains at 8 weeks currently, but we always recommend students to apply as early as possible, at least 3 months before the start date of your program, in order to ensure that you get your visa decision in time and prepare for your travel. And third is clarity in documents. So uh, your document should be really scanned properly. It should be readable. It should not be, I mean, it should be clearly legible, and it has to be submitted so that uh, the the quality of the scanning, the presentation of the documents is a key plays a key role in the process. So please ensure that your documents are clearly scanned and they are legible. And then upload all required documents. So in order to facilitate or expedite, if I have to say, the process of your visa application, don't I mean upload many documents. Try and submit only mandatory documents to avoid any complication or to minimize errors. So next slide, Aditya. Okay. So, so while many of us make some very common mistakes while launching a visa application, due to which the students are highly likely to get a rejections. Among them is filling the visa form. So always, as I said, fill the visa form properly, accurately, uh, correctly, be it the address or be with details regarding your work or education, about your program, or from the country where you come from. All should be properly given. And second is, uh, always we recommend students to show funds as much as possible, wherein we can showcase that uh, you are not a potential immigrant. Why do I say that? Because when you are showing that you have insufficient financial, I mean, your financial or your net worth is not very strong, then the visa officer is most likely to think that you might be a potential immigrant. So show funds as much as possible and show that you have a very strong net worth in order to enhance your visa chances. And lack of clear study path. So in the beginning of my presentation, I told you why it is important to select the right course. Uh, so when you are selecting the right course based on your background and interest, then you are able to clearly showcase that you have a very clear study path. So when you're able to portray that, then your visa chances are really high. So poor documentation organization. Again, if the documentation are not properly scanned, if they are not legible, if they are not in English language, and if it is in other languages, these things might affect the decision of your visa application. So properly organize your documents and ensure that they are uh, presented well in order to enhance your chances of getting the visa. And finally, is your weak ties to your home country. So again, how do you showcase that you have strong ties in with your home country? By way of a strong network, by way of your family establishment in your home country, by way of your future opportunities in your home country. So if you're not able to justify all these in your visa application, then it is considered to be weak ties with your with your home country, and it might lead to rejection or refusal. Okay, so we'll go for the next. Yeah. So if you see since September, October last year, the Canadian Immigration and Refugees Citizenship Canada, or the IRCC, which handles the immigration service of the country, has brought in more lot of rules, regulations, caps, in order to make the study abroad, to make Canada a even better country for study abroad. Okay. So basically, in order to maintain that Canada is a strong multicultural country and a destination of choice, immigration system, and they want to also prove that Canada has an immigration system for future, and it goes well with the newcomers in the country and takes care of the newcomers in the country. So this also includes attracting and retaining the people Canada needs, ensuring the communities can absorb and support them, and maintain the integrity of the country's border, which means they want to align the programs with the labor market needs and take a whole of government or whole of society approach to immigration. So with this purpose in mind, Canada brought in many regulations to the student visa process. So we will discuss on this step by step from next slide. So next slide, Aritra. Yeah. So changes in study permit caps for the year 2025 and 2026. So since September, as I said, last year, uh, uh, the Canadian government brought in rules and regulations to put a cap on the number of students entering Canada on the study and the student visa or study permit. Okay, so basically for 2025 and 2026, the cap is around 4,37,000 study permits. Okay, and which is almost 10% of what we currently have. So currently for 2024, the study permit issued was 4,85,000. So basically, Canada wants to now attract quality students, genuine students, so that they can gain from the strong education system they have, the immigration system they have, and they do, and uh, uh, with a purpose of, like, the main purpose is they want to attract these students who will meet their labor market requirements. So wherever they have skill shortages, they want students to fill those labor shortages areas and help in the development of the country. So here the cap, which was earlier or was for programs offered by colleges and vocational school, this has also been extended to universities for masters and doctoral programs. Okay, and latest in the uh, rules is student direct stream, which has been totally scrapped. Now, every student, irrespective of whichever country he is applying, he will be applying for a common visa application uh, to study in Canada. Okay, so the next slide, Aritra. Yeah. So new cap regulations for masters and doctoral students. So last year, uh, the cap was started only for private schools or public colleges or post-secondary colleges and institutions. But now, this year, uh, in 2024, they have also started giving, like say, even master and doctoral degree students who were not given an exemption in 2024, they will have a cap requirement in the year 2025 and 2026. Uh, Provincial attestation letter, which was initially started only for colleges and vocational schools and post-secondary schools and colleges, is now will also be applicable to universities. So if you are looking to study in a university for any of the masters or doctoral courses, you also require to have a provincial attestation letter. And this will be from next year, from Jan 2025, irrespective of whatever intake the student is going. The student requires a PAL letter for masters and doctoral programs. So the next slide. Okay. So among the new rules that was launched, one of them is also for postgraduate work permits. Okay. So starting from November 1st, 2024, so the university graduates with bachelor's, master's or PhD degree will be eligible for post-study work visa for up to 3 years. But for college programs, the post-study work visa is only restricted to programs that are deemed to be meeting the labor market requirements, which means if you are going for a college program that does not meet the labor market requirements, then you may not get a post-study work visa. Okay. So every student who has been an international student who is applying after November 1st will be coming under this new rule, but the one who have already applied before November 1st will not be impacted. So some of the fields that the Canadian government has identified as a skill shortage streams is agriculture and agri-food, healthcare, STEM courses, trade and transport. Okay, so this is as of now, but the provincial government is also working towards generating their individual province requirements, labor market requirements, and they also might be coming up with more categories. So we have to wait and watch for that. So the next slide, Aritra. Yeah. So for somebody, for earlier, when the international student applies for postgraduate work permit, there was no need for him to demonstrate any language proficiency, be it English or French. But from November, starting from November 1st of this year, the postgraduate work permit applicants or the PGWP applicants have to showcase the English language skill, and they should have a language score which is aligning with the Canadian language benchmark or CLB. So if you're going for college programs like diplomas or postgraduate diplomas, the CLB requirement is 5, which in general IELTS will be overall 5 with individual bands, 5 in listening, 4 in reading, 5 in writing, and 5 in speaking. And for students who are going for bachelor's and master's, they should have a CLB score of 7 overall, which is equivalent to general IELTS overall 6. And with listening, reading, writing, and speaking, all they should have minimum 6. Okay. So next slide, Aritra. Okay. So work permit restrictions for spouses. So the Canadian Immigration Department has also proposed work permit restrictions for spouses only. So later, although this has not been formally come into effect, but then the government is proposing spousal visa only for students who are going for a master degree and whose the length of the program should be minimum 6 months. Only then their spouses will be eligible for a spousal open work permit. If the program duration is less than 16 months, then they will not be eligible. Likewise, even the spousal open work permit will be only applicable for their people, for their partners who are working in management or professional occupations such as C-suite executives, engineers, scientists, lawyers, professors, or technicians, or if they are working under any labor shortages under the Canada's work permit programs. Only then they will be eligible for the spousal open work permit. Okay, so we'll go for the next slide, Aritra. Yeah. So what do we understand from this entire session? So the key takeaways for students will be when they, although this process is entirely challenging, but if you are keeping in mind certain things, if you're carefully preparing your visa documents, okay, and avoiding common mistakes, then you can submit a effective uh, study permit application, which will convert into a visa. So the key steps is avoid common mistakes, organize your documents, provide clear financial and academic plans, and stay updated on immigration policies. Consider seeking professional help for a smoother application. So we always recommend students to please get in touch with our counselors uh, who are who have the update, who are not only qualified and trained, but then they have the update knowledge and information with to help you submit a effective study permit application. So the next slide. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of the session. So I think we can open up for Q&A. Over to you, Aritra.
Thank you, Rupa, for the insightful presentation. So we have already received few questions, and we encourage everyone to keep submitting any thoughts or queries you have. Let's dive into some of the questions now. So Rupa, there is a question. What intakes are open as of now for Canada? Rupa, I think you're on mute.
Sorry, Arita. Okay, so if you're looking to consider for college programs for any of your UG diplomas or PG diplomas, May intake is available. And yes, for universities, uh, we have a September intake. So both of these intakes admissions have already started. So you can be looking at May 2025 and September 2025.
Okay. Kitna has asked, how long does it take for the visa decision to arrive?
All these days, for India, basically under the student direct stream, the visa processing time, though officially it was 7 weeks, but then we used to get decisions within like 20 days. So you can keep average 20 to 30 days. Okay. But now with the new rules and scrapping of student visa, sorry, study student direct stream category, I think it might take more time. So I always recommend students to apply at least 3 months before their intake date.
All right. There is another question. Can I apply without IELTS?
So majority of the colleges or university require IELTS at the application stage itself. So I always recommend to apply. So when you apply along with your IELTS and you are highly, I mean, you might get the decision very early, but if you are applying without IELTS, most of the time institutions don't accept. But even if they accept, they might hold the decision till you submit your IELTS. So always submit a complete application along with your IELTS score.
Do these new changes mean lower acceptance rates?
Not exactly. Okay. So acceptance, if you're talking about institutions, then it is definitely not, because actually now things are even more better because students will might be having more acceptance rate, because they will be looking. So if your background or profile is really good, with a strong credentials, with a strong um, percentages, then I don't see any acceptance rate coming. I mean, the acceptance rate is not going to change. You will definitely have good acceptance, because Canada wants quality students. So it purely depends on your profile, not pure. I mean, it doesn't have nothing to do with the new rules.
And the next question is, what is the number of hours that I can work part-time while studying as per the new rule?
Yeah. So, as per the new rules, now you can do 24 hours per week, both off and on campus. This is from November 8th, starting from November 8th of this year.
Okay. The next question is, can an international student go for a short-term course that is less than 12 months of duration?
Okay. So basically, if you see, uh, in Canada, if you're studying a program which is 8 months of duration, then you will get a study permit. Okay, so you are considered to be a, I mean, your program is considered to be a full-time course if the program duration is 8 months. So you can always go for a course which is 8 months or above. The course duration should be 8 months and above, not anything below 8 months.
And there is another question asking, do you help with collecting the right set of documents for my application and visa?
Definitely. So we have counselors who are certified, qualified, and trained in their respective destination, including Canada. So we have expert Canada destination counselors who can help you with the entire process, not only documentation, but with right from identifying the right courses based on your background and interest till you get your visa. Uh, we can assist you entirely.
Alright. Here is another question. I've completed my mechanical engineering. Would you advise that I go for a technical PG diploma or a master's?
So again, that depends on your score. Okay. So basically, in Canada, the university requirements are on the higher side. Okay. And also, majority of the courses in Canada are research-based programs. So if you're looking to go in research line, and if you have a percentage which is first class and above, anything about 65 and above or 70 and above, you have high chances of getting into a master degree. And with the current scenario, we always recommend students to go for university masters, because that will entitle them to get post-study work visa and also uh, permanent residency.
Okay, I think we came to the end of Q&A session, and here is the last question from one of the students. Will I have to write my IELTS again after going there to get my PGWP?
Yeah, definitely. As per the new rules, every student, depending on what course they study, they have to, whether it is because the IELTS requirement is different for people going for colleges, and it is different for people going for universities. So depending on what course you have studied, you have to definitely take IELTS general and meet the minimum requirements to qualify for PGWP.
So I think we came to end of the session. Thank you all for joining us today and for your thoughtful questions. We hope this session provided valuable insights, and stay connected with us on our social media platforms for more details like this, and visit our website at fastudyabroad.com. Have a great evening. Bye.
Thank you.